thought it was gonna do some BS. It's loading up now.
Let's say we live on my end.
Oh, okay, we live. It's still showing Zoom connecting to my YouTube, to y'all YouTube channel. But I'll see and let's see what it do. Let me go over here too. Damn it, I meant to be. I'll do this too. Let me go back over here. Man, let's see. Is my screen sharing? Yeah, it's sharing.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. All right, hold on. Let me go over here to Kofi Piesie.
Yeah, I see it.
Okay. All right, y'all give us just a second, man. Matter of fact, I'll do this. Well, nah, I'll do that in just a minute. Let me mute this. And repeat everything I say. Man, all right. Y'all, like I said, give it just a second, man. We're gonna get started. My screen sharing. Man, it's we'll get off here too, man.
Yeah,
Like a video. I want y'all. This woman here, I think we might have to comb through this woman video one day. Well, hold on, y'all. Hold on, let me go over here to Kofi.
Kofi, your feedback playing.
And shoot, man, it's on. Hold on, y'all. Y'all give it just a second, man. It's this. I know what it is. This thing. Let me see. Where is it? Okay. It's right here. I'm still sharing, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Y'all give us just a second, man. Bear with us, man. Bear with us, please. And then we'll share the show now. I'm trying to get back over here to my power tank too. All right, I'm back over here. Back over here. Do this. Copy the link. Let me share it on my Facebook page when we get started. That's still me feeding back?
Nah, that's me this time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Boy, you better mute your mic, Sutekh. You heard that basic Kofi voice? He was getting ready to.
This damn thing.
But that's what I was talking about this morning, Kofi. This has been me all morning dealing with this technology doing what it want to
do. It's kind of doing what it want to do. It sure is. Peace, Coach, one time. Peace, D Tavo. Peace, Melanated Goddess. Peace to Black African Power. Give us just a second, man. We're gonna get started. When we get started, I'm having some issues. T'Challa done rubbed his technical difficulties all the way in Chicago off on.
That's right. I astral projected from the Windy City. No, let me stop.
Oh boy, yeah. Watch you still do the same.
Shout out to everybody that's tuned in as well. We really appreciate y'all. Happy Father's Day to all of those that's out there. Give thanks for the ancestors coming forth laying the way for brothers to rise and be able to live to make it to this Father's Day. It's a rough world out here. I'm just grateful to be alive right now.
That's a fact. That's a fact. That's a fact. Like I said, y'all, we finna get ready to get started. Matter of fact, let me go ahead and do this real quick. I'll do this and we'll come back to that.
Man in the full knowledge of himself is a superb and supreme creature of creation. When man becomes possessor of the knowledge of himself, he becomes master of his environment, the captain of his own ship, the director of his own destiny, the accomplisher of his own ends. Man should understand himself because man is full of knowledge, and this knowledge is a gift of nature. When Mother Nature created man, she deprived him of nothing. He was given the faculty of understanding all things around him. This faculty for understanding has not been taken away from him. None of his senses have been taken away from him. So there is no excuse for that man. I'm bringing my team, red like green, 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 so moving down the street, I should.
All right, first I want to say peace, 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 peace. Please like the show, share the show. But you know my thing, share the show with those who you think will be appreciative of this information. Don't share the show to those that you just share the show and you know they're not even going to watch the video or not even appreciate the information that will be disseminated. Again, like, share the show. You hadn't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. I want to say ETM Hotep, Dua Aku, Dua Netcher, Fatmu Alafie, Fatmu EY Riri, Fatmu EY Pele. I always want to say that which means bring forth peace, bring forth gentle character. Over here, that's what we strive on, good character. We strive on gentle character. We strive on respecting one another. We strive on loving one another and honoring one another. Also, I want to say Majuba Iba Iye Gungun, Majuba Iba Iye Gungun, Majuba Iba Iye Lagba, Majuba Iba Iye Lagba, Igungun Kiki Igungun. I always want to give honor and praises to the ancestors, because without the ancestors, we wouldn't be here. We are our ancestors. We literally are our ancestors. So I always want to give honor and praises to them. I also want to give or extend honor and praises to the true and living the true and living elders out there according to African traditions, because we look at everything over here from an African lens, from an African perspective. So peace to those elders out there that's meeting those characteristics. Today we're gonna have a pretty good show, brother. Brother T'Challa will be presenting something or going through some information on today dealing with the female warriors. Before we get started right now, let me see if anybody know Sutekh, I don't know why I be taller Sutekh, but Sutekh, you got anything, man, for I turn it over to brother T'Challa Bangara.
Yeah, man. Peace to the panel. Peace to the chat. Everybody that's coming in, like and share the show. Peace to those that might see it in the archives, and let's just get into it. See where my brother T'Challa getting this into today.
All right, come join. All right. Peace again, everybody in the chat. I done spoke to everybody, but grown man 773. Peace, peace, King, peace. Happy Father's Day to those fathers out there. Yeah, I'm gonna start sharing my screen. I'm gonna turn on over to you, to brother T'Challa.
Yeah, you see around here, everybody has the same identity. Brother Sutekh is the Teppan Ra. Brother Vasa is Kofi. Shawn is T'Challa, and I don't know who I am. So, but once again, we do. Let me hit this to make sure that this is doing what I need to do. Y'all let me know when you can see my.
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay. So before I get into anything on the screen, I want to kind of talk about what I'm presenting today. I believe the okay, cool. Make sure everything is where it need to be for later. I believe what the title says is large and in charge African um, warrior queens or something like that. My focus is to highlight all of the Black women that paved the way for us to be able to be here right at this moment. Throughout history, period, hands down, we know that women in general are looked at in a certain light, especially because we're looking at things from a Eurocentric lens. And we know specifically the Black woman is undervalued, underappreciated, you know, and those words are really understatements because they got the bottom of the barrel for real. And I just kind of, I was talking about a couple of weeks ago, some of the African warrior men, and that's all we hear about when we study wars and fighting and just kingdoms in general and empires and history. You're gonna hear 7 stories about a male before you hear anything about a female. So today I wanted to get into an overview of the warrior queens of ancient Kemet, at least the ones listed in Great Brother Asar's Nisul Biddy book on page 16. But before we get into that, we'll go ahead and pull up some of the information on the Dahomey. Now, for fun, I was trying to do a presentation, an actual presentation, and I was having technological difficulties, as Kofi said earlier. But in one of my searches, just to see what different websites had information on the Dahomey, I was looking at the different definitions of the word Dahomey, depending on where you go. And this website here, definitions.net, they got a lot of information on this website, and you can trace the sources back to find out, okay, where are these people getting this information from? Those of you who have books on subjects, languages, whatever, you can verify just like you would do Wikipedia. What's interesting to me is just looking at the name of some of these sources. Princeton's WorldNet, Wiktionary, Freebase, the Natal Encyclopedia, right? So I just got to, looking through, first of all, who and what the Dahomey are according to this source. So as a noun, it's used by the Princeton's WorldNet. It's used as modern day Benin, the Republic of Benin, right? A country on on the coast of West Africa, formerly under French control. Now, a lot of us that do research will look at that and we'll jump and we'll plug it into our paper we're writing, or our presentation we're doing, or a conversation we're trying to go back and forth with somebody on the internet, and we'll just plug that in the chat real quick or hurry up and slap that in there. But what happens is the more you read, you come up with different definitions, which is why we like to start off with working definitions. What do you mean by Dahomey? Just like Brother Sutekh was talking about the Moors. If I say the word Moor, I might as well just be saying life on planet Earth. Like, is that diverse? Is that encompassing? It's a lot to go into that. So same thing with Dahomey. According to Wiktionary, as a proper noun, a former country in Africa, the former name of Benin. Okay, so that's consistent with the first source. The etymology of Da and Home, belly of Da, or snake's belly. Right there is going to turn a lot of us off that's dealing with Abrahamic perception. Christian faith, you hear snake, serpent, you automatically, oh no, that's the devil, that's Satan. But remember, in Africa, snakes and serpents, they have a particular affinity for snakes and serpents in Africa. In fact, they have an affinity for pretty much all of the life around them in Africa. And so for your village, your kingdom, your empire, your people, your domain to be named after an animal or dealing with a part of an animal's body, which is very deep, we can trace that back to ancient Kemet and beyond. It's telling you something about the psychology of the people, about what they think about themselves. How do they feel about themselves according to their environment and their worldview? So we keep going according to free-based. So this is some, getting into a little bit more information. I do believe Brother Shawn covered the Dahomey or Brother Kofi in one of the presentations.
Yeah, and the homie is current day Benin. For those that don't know, or they don't know, because a lot of times when you talk about that place there, it is Benin. They call it Benin, but the name was Dahomey. So Dahomey is Benin.
Correct.
Yeah,
And
and on the excuse me, real quick about the serpent. I don't know if you touch on this or not in your presentation, but they worship the serpent in Benin, especially in the Ouida area. I touched on that in my presentation on Ouida. They have this snake, this serpent that they worship. They even got the temples for it and everything. So yeah, serpents in Benin is a big thing.
Yeah, because you have that place is Voodoo. You talk about Togo and Benin; those is like the central places for Voodoo. And so when you talk about those different temples, you'll see those temples with those serpents and stuff. When I touched on that a little bit, actually on both presentations that I did, particularly dealing with voodoo, with voodoo rather with voodoo. Shoot, I can't even get it out. But yeah, you correct.
Yeah, now it's a tourist spot. You can come, you can go to Benin, you can pay your little cash, and you can see the serpents. You can wear the serpents around your neck and all that. So yeah, it's big business over there. They even the scarification that they use is even dedicated to this serpent that they worship. So yeah, it's heavy.
And for those, to back my brothers up, those who don't understand what worship is in the African context, it ain't what you're thinking from the Eurocentric lens, like, oh, they literally just think the snake is. No, there's a literal aspect to the power of what serpents have, especially in your environment. Like, imagine if you was in more of a close proximity with a population of several species of serpent, snakes, and any other kind of reptile that might creep most of us out. Think about the significance that just the weather plays upon your lifestyle now here in America. It's summertime. I got the AC on. I cannot breathe without that. I'm literally out of here. In my brother on voice, I'm out of there if I don't have the AC in the summertime. No questions. So being in touch with your environment is what we're about when it comes to African tradition. Go ahead, bro.
One more thing too, about that serpent and the reverence, because we know, worship only means to revere and honor. They revered this serpent because specifically in Ouida was a farmland. And with farmland comes rodents. So these rodents would be kept under control by these serpents. So it's a give and take relationship. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So this is the reason why they revered the serpent. Like, it's logical explanations. They're not just putting something on a pedestal for nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Facts. And for me, as an African American, when we talk about creating our own culture here, our own sort of ways of deification, how I would deify the snake personally, if I was in that context, like you can look at that because rodents breed disease, correct?
That's a fact.
Like much more so than having a bunch of serpents around. In fact, the serpents are going to, like you just said, we know that you have a pet snake. I know plenty of people growing up in high school who had pet snakes, and they would talk about going to get their little mice, you know, and going to feed whatever they name their snake. Think about what that means when it comes to when you out in the bush, it ain't no vaccines, it ain't no pills, tablets you can take. There's no, you dealing with animals that breed diseases, just like what we're dealing with now. A particular mammal has an immune system so strong that smaller organisms are able to adapt to that immune system, become stronger. And now that's like them being in the gym working out and getting jacked. And then they go to a weightlifting competition, which is pretty much our immune system, and they smoking. No problems whatsoever because they've been working out virus style. Like, it's real. The common cold and influenza was knocking human beings off. Homo sapiens sapien was getting knocked off from the common cold, which is, by the way, an ancestor of COVID-19, for the longest in human history. Just getting the sniffles, certain villages will react to you in a certain way if you had the sniffles too long. It goes deep when it comes to nature and Africans, but I want to move forward because I don't want to be on here 3-4 hours. Now this is where I got in my emotions a little bit, and I had to really calm myself down because, you know, this is an official site. Like, this is, you can go to this right now as you on here with just like I am. And this is what's said about our people, our great Black women, and how they deal with the information. So, a Negro kingdom of undefined limits and under French protectorate in West Africa, north of the slave coast, the religious rights of the natives are sanguinary. They offer human victims and sacrifice. Is an agricultural country, yields palm oil and gold dust, and once a great center of the slave trade. Let me back up a little bit. They offer human victims and sacrifice. Okay, pause. Who said that that's what they do? And if they do that, if they choose to partake in that activity, what is the criterion for human sacrifice according to the Dahomey, the serpent people? What constitutes as a human sacrifice? What does that exactly mean? You see, we cannot just accept, like, how it's just up here and it's just jumbled up, and then the next thing it says is an agricultural country. You go from human sacrifice to talking about how they like to grow crops. Like, you just gloss over that in a definition of something. When the person putting this up here, the people who decide what these definitions are in these encyclopedias and in these dictionaries, they know what they're doing. Because according to the construct of English, reading these words means a certain thing, which is why I stress language. Because if I get into like some of the deeper information, like my brothers went in with their presentations and so forth, books that they may have, we can understand better about, okay, why would they deal with serpents so much? And then again, the question that I have, who said that the Dahomey practiced human sacrifice? You see, I have a problem with certain wording, and then it was once a great center of the slave trade. So in that definition, because again, people are only reading, they'll look up something and get one source's definition, and they'll proceed to finish whatever else they were doing. A lot of people stop at only one of these definitions. And I just have a real, I have a real problem with that. Let me see.
Is this question rhetorical about who said they did human sacrifice? Because I can tell you exactly where they came from. Where the source.
No. By all means, brother, that's an open invitation for the knowledge to flow through.
Okay, William Snellgrave. I put his name in the chat. He went to Wheater. He was an English trader that was going to Wheater to trade his goods, of course, for slaves, and he got caught up by the Dahomey Kingdom. You know, at that time, the Wheater Kingdom and the Dahomey Kingdom were two separate entities, and he got caught up by the Dahomey Kingdom when they was taking over Wheater. So he claims that the king of Dahomey, King Agaja, was basically sacrificing multitudes of people at a time and dumping them in one hole. And the claim is also too that they were eating these people. He never saw this with his own eyes, but this is the claim, and this is where it comes from.
Get people the name again. Who was the brother?
He was an English trader. His name is William Snellgrave, and I'm gonna throw it in the chat.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that because you just told me, so I didn't know that neither.
Yeah, that was the primary that I read when I did the presentation for Wheater. But yeah, I'm gonna throw it in the chat right now.
You see how one tree don't make a forest around here?
That's a fact, Jack.
Let me see. Now, where do I want to move? I'm trying to think where I want to move to next. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and deal with the working definitions. Oh, and by the way, anybody in the chat that has something to say, questions, please, when I present and when I feel it's safe to speak for the brothers on the panel, when we present, Brother Kofi even has this in his slide about he welcomes constructive criticism, welcomes information. Like, we're here to learn. And anybody who knows anything about being an educator, you know that that's exactly what it's a reciprocal process. You're giving information or you're teaching a method, but you're also learning how to better explain what it is that you know. You're also learning more ways to adapt and evolve and improve on what you know. And then you learn how to learn from others because your students give you different angles of how to reach them and possibly other people, and will ask you research questions that you haven't thought of yet, allowing you to learn and expand further on the subject. So I say all that to say that this is the angle that I approach whenever I bring and disseminate information to the community. I'm not the authority even on West African drumming. I know a great deal about the djembe orchestra, and I can talk to you until all of the prophets that's real and non-real come back about the music and which instrument plays what and all of that. However, only a fool knows all. So please, I welcome all questions and comments.
Hey, brother T'Challa.
What's up?
And I'm sorry, brothers, I dropped off earlier. I got kind of tied up. But I was listening to y'all, and I'm listening to y'all talk about the cannibalism, and I glance at the screen, and I see NO and XO. And I'm like, I wonder if they know there's two different forms of cannibalism. They got exo cannibalism and NO cannibalism. I believe that's what it's called. It's been a minute. Endo cannibalism. But these separations give notions to the idea of the difference in between eating someone outside of your own group. Let's say, you conquer somebody and in the act of war, you just go completely savage, or those who would eat their own kind, which would be a endo cannibal. And these things are important to learn as well when it comes to that, because then you can start really separating different cultures and class and things. But yeah, I just wanted to toss that out. I didn't want to go too far off the bill, and I only said it because you was emphasizing words and all that kind of lined up at the moment.
Yeah, and that definitely ties into why I'm bringing up this definition of
It is still
an
sharing.
exonet.
Is screen still
Oh,
sharing?
did it drop off?
I'm trying to see because I don't know. Maybe I did something. Damn. Maybe I did something, but even with me going on to, cause I was trying to add another slide on here where you let me go back over here and let me see, cause I look like
I
I'm
just went back. It kicked it off, but I'm back on here. It looked like.
okay. I tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lock it on your screen. Well, no, it went back. It went back.
Okay.
Yeah, even the mummies they found in Peru, it stems more so from the cannibalistic practices that they was doing. They was, eating the remains, and that helped preserve those bodies in a way. And then the way they, wrap things back up helped it preserve it. Versus you look at Africa, and we was doing our best to preserve the actual ancestor in their memory. If y'all get where I'm going, and you can use things like this to make comparisons within cultures and understanding what these words are and how they apply, like T'Challa was saying. Because you can start removing a lot of the arguments we find ourselves in simply by knowing what the argument is even about.
And that's precisely why I have the definitions up here. Brother Sutekh brought this up in his presentation last week about, exonyms and dealing with Moors, and what did these so-called Moors of the particular time of that Moor call themselves? Mm-hmm. That's the most important. That is the conversation with me, with everything, politics, religion, even this bill right now. Like, I would, if I had it to do, if it was, if I was the almighty omnipotent being, I would make it so that all Black people instantly understood a universal African dialect, or spoke several universal, mutually intelligible dialects in the first place. Like right now, I would just have it like the Matrix download. Give me this Yoruba dialect, this Igbo dialect, this Mandinka dialect, this Zulu dialect, this Xhosa dialect. Because there's something special about ancient Kemet and authoritative utterance. There's something special about utterance in general with Black people. The voice, the power of your words. And that is the main vehicle that we use when we're dealing with, especially platforms such as this, where we're disseminating information. Now, I'm sure if I was on here and I was yelling a bunch of MFs and, all these other words and this and that, and I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't use the words because I'm a human being. I'm not that type of quote unquote conscious, really not conscious dude. Like, oh, I don't know. You rub me the wrong way. Blow your breath too hard this way and see how I react, especially during this time. Like, I'm gonna look at you funny and I'm gonna be trying to take at least 15 feet from you. You know what I'm saying? Not trying to get on a macho man. I'm just gonna try to get away from you. Like, I'm not even about being a part of your presence and energy and participating in your existence in that realm. I don't exist in that world of negativity. I need to remove myself because I need to do what I'm doing here. And all of that is defined in, if we're using exonymic words, or we're using endonyms for things. For instance, if I was to say, oh man, Sutekh, that was a dope presentation last week. If we go back a certain amount of years in American history, like, people ain't gonna know what I'm talking about with that. Even right now, today in 2020, there are people who don't know what I'm saying if I say, yo man, that was hot. I like that. Even if I follow it up with I like that, they still don't know what I'm talking about. And that exists in most languages around the world. Like, we got those type of, I don't like to use the word esoteric so much, but that's what it is. certain meanings that are only known amongst certain smaller groups within these communities, where we have certain slang words and this and that. And if I wanted to buy a certain, merchandise from a certain individual, I know what to say to them. I don't flat out say the merchandise. It's got a different kind of name that's only recognized between me and that individual in the community that participate in those types of activities. No matter what it is, it could be some Jordans that ain't even came out yet. And we can nickname the new 22s, whatever we want. But that's the power of having agency and being able to have endonyms and recognize. So I don't say ancient Egypt, it's Kemet, because that's what it was called at the time that we're talking about it. And pre-Kemet, it was whatever name of the land or the people associated by that riverbank is what it was. And that's very important for us to understand. So what I'm actually going to do is stop sharing this because I had the definition up there long enough. The family can pause the video or whatever and go back. And hold on, what is this? All right. Trying to go back. I'm going to share my, whatchamacallit? Not share, but do my video. Okay, here we go. Now this next thing I'm going to go to is out of your boy Saram Hotep's Nisud Biddy work, right? And let's see. And we on page 16. As you see, I pretty much got the whole page highlighted. And I'm gonna read a little bit on this page on 17. Now I'm gonna turn my camera off because it's gonna be hard to hold it and read and all that. But this, you see the work, and if y'all ain't got this work, as Brother Sutekh say, you tripping. So go ahead and turn this off for a second. And I'm gonna read this page 16 because we're gonna get into some of the warrior queens of ancient Kemet. So Brother Asar there were a number of well-known female kings in ancient Kemet that are worth noting. Merit Neith of the first dynasty, right, 3000 BC. Now, some of these names, I'm a student as well, so y'all bear with me. I ain't gonna be like Brother Kofi, but y'all bear with me. So, Nematap or Ni-Mateb, third dynasty. Kent Kaus, fourth dynasty. Ankh-Nes Mary Ray the second, or Ankh-Sen Pepi the second, or Ankh Mary Ra, sixth dynasty. Needle Chris, sixth dynasty, 2148 to 44 BC. Sobek Nofru, or Nefer Sobek, 12th dynasty.
Are you still sharing your screen, or you just reading now, Tyler?
I'm just reading.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Now it says, doesn't know when the beginning time was, but it was 1767 to 1759 BC. Ashhotep, 18th dynasty. Hatshepsut, which is someone that we should all definitely be familiar with. 18th dynasty, 1473 to 1458 BC. Nefertiti, 18th dynasty, 1336 BC. Amos Nefertari, 18th dynasty. Tuarshret, 19th dynasty, 1187 to 1185 BC. This long and well-established tradition of female kings lives on today in Africa, as is attested in the fishing village of Autom, Ghana, 60 miles from the capital, Accra. As of this writing, Autom has a female king by the name of Pegolini Bartels, affectionately known as King Peggy. She is not a queen, meaning the wife of a king. She is in fact the king of this province. Her story is told in the text King Peggy, an American secretary, her royal destiny, and the inspiring story of how she changed an African village. written by Her Majesty Pegolini Bartolins. Now I'm gonna read this next paragraph and then I'm gonna stop for a second. This difference between African conceptualizations of women and that of European can be seen in their respective languages and helps to explain the confusion in the West when it comes to the notion of a female king. For example, in Indo-European languages, the word for man and the word for woman are generally not the same. This has deep implications as it directly correlates to how a woman is seen historically among Indo-European speakers and what types of roles they would possess within the society. The online etymological dictionary defines the word woman as follows: woman, adult female human, late Old English, women, wyman, plural, women, literally woman, man, alteration of the wife man, plural, wife men, woman, female servant, a compound of with woman, see wife, man, human being. In Old English, used in reference to both sexes, see man, compare as a noun. Compare Dutch vomans, wife, literally woman, man. So this is well known, well, should be well known that, you know, this is pretty much how you're looked at. As a queen, you're looked at the wife as a king instead of as, you know, is it possible for women to actually, just be calling all of the shots, be the head honcho all the way around the board? In Africa, absolutely so.
Can I,
Go ahead.
I just wanted to show people real quick. Click it right here. He was reading some, let me see if I can get this lighting kind of, all right, well, y'all can see the book. He was reading about, you know, some of the Nasut Bitties. We know Nasut Bitti means dual king of Upper and Lower Egypt, or tie my shoe and tie my who. I'm just talking about the upper and the lower lands. We know there was women who were kings. There were multiple kings, like he mentioned Hatshepsut a while ago. A lot of us should know about Hatshepsut, and a lot of us do know about Hatshepsut, but we don't know about some of the kings some of the other women who served as kings as well. And this is a great book to get right here. It's called Queens of Egypt. And he gave you some of the names, and in this book, it details from each dynasty. It tells you about these different let me see if I can go to one of these pages. It details you about some of these queens. Like here you will see, here it says the first queens of early dynastic period 3100 to 2650 BCE. And then you go here, I don't know if y'all can see that good. Let's see if y'all can see that good. Let me know if y'all can see that pretty good out there. Y'all can't. Let me see if I can get this light. Nah, that's blurred like a mug. I'm trying to get it where y'all can able to see it, but they can't see it that good, man, for my lighting. But it tells you about Dynasty 1, 2950 to 2750. It tells you about Neithotep, Benereb, Kintab, Hennerneith, Metternich. All these are the first dynasty. Then it goes in the second dynasty and it gives you the dates of these different queens. And it's a lot of there was a lot queens, but actually a lot of women who served as queens. Yeah, I know it's kind of blurry. My lighting ain't all that good in here, but this is the book, and it's a great book to have. Like I said, it goes through all the information. It's a part two. This is by Josh Teasley. He has the one on the Kings as well. I'll show y'all the one on the Kings too. But I got both of the books. It actually goes through, gives you primaries, actually the dates of these kings, mummies. Show you, like on one thing I can show you with the kings, it gives you the mummification, actually where these mummies they dug up of these kings are actually in what museum, etc., etc., etc. Even the museum item numbers, if you want to go look it up, and etc. But this is a good book. He named a few, but I mean it's tons of them in this book. And again, it's called Queens of Egypt. It's by Joseph Teasley, The Chronicles of Kings of Egypt. I'm gonna get the other book and then I'll stop.
Yeah, man, it's always a good book to get.
Yeah. And this is the other one here. Anybody that want the PDFs, I got the hard copies, but I got the PDFs too. So this in here is the this is I'm sorry, this is by Peter A. Clayton. Here, this is the Chronicles of Pharaoh, the reigns and reign recorded of rulers of the dynastic ancient Egypt. So this in here is a great book to have too, if you want to learn more about those Nasut Bitties. And this is here is about those women who served as also as kings, as Nasut Bitches, queens of Egypt. These are two great books to have if you want the copies. I tell you what, I'll give both of these copies out. I ain't gonna just give them away. I'm tired of giving stuff away. I'm tired of giving stuff away. I'm just gonna be honest. If you can show me that you purchased the Spears of the Mossi, if you show me you purchased the Spears of the Mossi, I'll send you both PDF books. I'm tired of getting stuff
I
away.
see you, brother Vasa.
Yeah. All right.
Y'all see
Oh,
those?
yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if the audience can see them.
Yeah, I just.
But to go along with those, the chronological order of the queens of Egypt and the pharaohs, they also got the Chinese emperors. They got one for the popes, and then they got one for Roman emperors. You are in these books. That's all I'm gonna say. It's on you to read them, but you in there. And they're good to have. They're real good for your kids to have because they need to know world history.
And let's get on. Let him get back.
Let's yeah. You see what's right there in the middle. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, because we're gonna do a show on Facebook. We're gonna do a show on Facebook this evening, tonight, and you know the importance of reading, and we're gonna run down some recommendation of books to read. So y'all tune into that. But go ahead, brother T'Challa. You can kind of.
Yeah. So I'm gonna read on page 17. Among the Indo-European speakers, a female is a second-class citizen. Let that sink in for a second. We've been saying this and reiterating that. Among Indo-European speakers, a female is a second-class citizen of lesser quality, inadequate, something shameful, and, as the brother lists, a bitch. It is no wonder why Western women have had to have a women's liberation movement. Brother Voss, can you mute your mic?
Yeah, my bad.
Have
But
a women's.
after this, can I show you something? My bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Western women have had to have a women's liberation movement for basic human rights. I'll read this again. It is no wonder why Western women have had to have a women's liberation movement for basic human rights. In Western society, that's what needs to happen, because from the get-go, from the language of what defines you as a being on this planet, according to the finite rules of the English language, is of lesser quality than a human being in the first place. You're looked at as a servant to a male. What else is used as a servant to a male? Other animals, canines, specifically dogs. And if you're a female, well, that's the definition of the word bitch. So you're already looked at as not even a human being, as a woman, according to the English language. So again, my point about Black women, the 3/5 clause was salt on the wound for y'all, because you're already not human as a woman, and then you Black, the most beautiful thing in the world. So, you know, that's something that really stood out to me. in my earlier years of coming out of Abrahamic thought and everything like that, where you have the definition automatically in the get-go, you lose because the literal definition of a word that defines you is derogatory. Now, for the sake of time, I'm gonna go ahead and move to a great work by Brother Ankh West. He wrote his book, now I can't speak, the chronology, there we go, of human evolution. All right. And on that note of women, talking about what women are in Africa, according to African traditions, using endonyms, you know, that type of terminology. He says on page 12, women were at the center of the African culture because she gave birth to the community, children, science, writing, math, art, etc., and the workforce. Women gave birth to the community and the workforce. Science, writing, math, all that. Like that's what the Black woman does. Other cultures copied and borrowed their gods from the Africans who made statues worshiping themselves, us. Therefore, a real Black atheist would never want to go against the ancestors because they built up the community. A real Black atheist would never want to be against the sky that brings life in the form of rain. A real Black atheist would never want to go against the wise old elder because they would never learn. Those things are real important to me as an African-centered man. Okay. Like, understand it. And it's not just because it's in Unc West's book. I mean, you can go ahead and tackle your own research. Go ahead and see how far back do these subjects go. We already know that every mammal that comes into the plane of existence comes by way of the female of that species, not from the rib of the male of that species, but by the way of the female. And it was many female warriors that allowed us to even have the ability to be alive and to be fighting for our rights today, because they endured and they pressed on fighting off rebellions, still enduring and pressing on fighting off a rebellion. And it's something that we really need to honor and look at, because we would not be here if it were not for them. Queen Hatshepsut has a temple carved in the side of a mountain right to this day. I mean, you know, the legacy is there. Let's see. 2 o'clock. Okay. I did want to show, not really show, but there was a passage in Dr. Kilimanjaro's work, Ma'at, if I can get the right page that I had. So in this work, now this is a thick work right here. If you don't have the book, the works Ma'at from the University of Kemet Press, you're tripping. It's a good one to have, all around principles that you can understand. And so on page 553, it says a life well lived, right? Ankh and Njie, right? And it has 16 points. I'm gonna run down these points, and anybody that got anything they want to say, add, talk about, you can go ahead and do so. But it's point 1, I have come from my town, descending from my home. I have done justice for its innocent ones. I have satisfied the least of those with what they needed. I spoke truthfully. I did right. I lived honestly. I repeated what I heard accurately. I seized the right moment so as to stand well with the people. I judged between two as so to do justice for justice' sake. I rescued the weak from the stronger as much as what was in my power. I gave bread to the hungry, clothes to the naked, shelter to the homeless, and brought the boatless to land. I buried parents who had no children, and I cared for the children who had no parents. I made a boat for them who lacked one that sailed for all reasons. I protected and raised my family. I pleased my mother. I ran the good race. I paid the price. I gave the best of what I had. I did what had to be done. I lived with no regrets. I stood firm in the storms of life. I made the most of my gifts, and I finished my life's work well. Basic principles that I feel should be taught, reiterated, and rung loud in the eardrums of all Black men, women, and children. Because it is for these reasons and these principles and these teachings that allowed us to create God, to create religion, to create civilization, to create jobs, to create these different things that we use. And we really cannot live without, because we would then be no different than the rest of the life forms that Eurocentric thought deems as being inferior and that we have dominion over, because their God said so. And that's just not the case. The truth is, in nature, every animal is on an equal playing field as every other animal, relatively, because what happens is, in their environment, coming in contact with them, if you're small enough to come in contact with a praying mantis and you're not something that can get away from the praying mantis or something that can fight back against the lightning speed and accuracy of a strike from a praying mantis, and that mantis can devour you, you're done. You're dinner. That's it. You come in contact with something like, I don't know, an animal you cannot see that enters your immune system somehow. It gets into your body somehow, and it starts to do things to you until one day you wake up and your throat hurting, you sweating, you cold at the same time, you hungry, but you don't want to eat. You got problems. We need to respect ourselves better, know more about nature, understand our place in nature, deal with nature, learn as much as you can, and respect. No, I'm going to say it how we say it nowadays. Put some respect on the name of Black women, because we would not be here if it wasn't for them. And that's all I got, family. You muted, Brother Kofi. Uh-oh. Can you hear me, Brother Kofi?
I'm here with you, T'Challa. Good show. Sorry I missed the opening of it, but good show. Real good show. From where I've heard and seen where you was coming from, I agree with everything you were saying.
Appreciate that. I don't know what's going on. I think Kofi was trying to say something, but he having some difficulties. But go ahead while he's straightening it out.
As y'all know, I was doing stuff with my son before the show started. So I wasn't prepared for this, but I pulled up something on my screen when you was talking about women being reduced and what we went through. It's from one of our previous shows. I'm gonna try to show you from here. You see this image?
Mm-hmm.
And you was talking about being reduced to dogs and that plight. This passage right here, and I'll read it with you. It says, to complicate women's lives even more, or Black women's lives even more, that was possible in 1849, Virginia passed a law preventing Black persons from testifying against a white defendant. This excluded Blacks from testifying, witnessing to crimes that they observed white persons committing, and most importantly, it prevented Black females, victims, from testifying against a crime committed to her against a white person. If you look up at the top, it says Bonnie and Clyde. No, Peggy and Patrick. Peggy Francis, in this story that made me search for this image. I've seen it before, but this image came to mind. Peggy Francis killed her slave master. I want to say 1830, 1839, somewhere roughly in there in New Kent, Virginia. She winds up being in court. They start doing an investigation and they ask a couple of the Negro slaves what's going on. They start telling the truth about what's really happening. Peggy did not want to have sex with her master, but he locked her into a smokehouse type of ordeal. In this process, she gets a hold of an axe. Her husband comes to her, tries to convince her not to go any further than what she's thinking, rightfully so, being human, going through an emotional, traumatic event. Someone's trying to rape you. They locking you up. They taking away your right to just live at this point. Yeah, I can see somebody being enraged and grabbing the first thing they see. She, however, the story goes, winds up killing her master. Because she does this, they reveal that the master she killed was not only her slave master, but her own father. And that's why she was so enraged towards not wanting to accept those sexual advances from him at any demeanor. And look at the laws that they put into place. They have absolutely no right to even speak about it. And when we fast forward time and we have allowed them to reduce through pop culture for our own selves to look at them, as you was alluding to as earlier, as what y'all see that the camera is on now, I do think is a disservice. And we should stand up and fight for those principles that you're trying to display today. So great build. It made me think about this because it just touched my heart as I'm going through the case. And I got to, the part of it being her father after much reading and being invested into it emotionally. So it hit me even harder, like, damn, this was her father doing this to her. And yet, sadly, she gets executed. The husband gets executed. And I think 4 of the slaves out of 6 that they talked to wound up dying as well. But what's that tell you? All 6 people who knew the truth had to go. And your voice gets silenced. So when we have Brother Kofi and T'Challa and so many other, Shawn in particularly, because he does it a lot, bring forth these stories, we ask that the people just respect them and actually look at, what if that was your life? What if you was Peggy? Do you not want at least someone to know your story at bare minimum, and to fight to make sure that doesn't happen to the future Peggy's? So salutes to you on this one, T'Challa, for, showing that they have the warrior spirit needed to provide that leadership that we need in our communities as well. So many salutes to you on this one. And I'll try to get this stuff, sources and all this stuff for this particular story together for you guys. So like I said, I'm in the midst of grocery shopping for my boy and all that other stuff. So I'm gonna go back to mute because I don't know if Kofi's back.
Oh yeah, man, I'm back. Yeah. When did you do that, Vasa?
Oh, that was part 1 of the Black Family series in our older audience. 2 more parts. That was the one where I was walking our arrival in the Americas as quote unquote the United States up into emancipation. And then I was going to do from 1865 to the 1960s. And then part 3 will be from 1960 to present, highlighting the state of the Black family.
Yeah, I remember now.
I just owe you guys those shows. And unfortunately, that's one of those things it takes a minute to collect data on that to be able to give you something thorough, not just, an opinion based off my immediate surroundings, but to give you, a nice scholastic review of our plights and our achievements. So it's coming. I haven't forgot. It just takes time.
Yeah, man. But yeah, man, that was a good one, man. I was trying to look in here and see if anybody had in the comments. And like I said, anybody that wanted the two books that I put up, was T'Challa mentioned those women who served as kings, and there are many, many, many others. And then we know people know of Nefertiti, um, and Hatshepsut, especially Hatshepsut. But there was many, many more, and there was many way, but there was many, many before you even get to a Hatshepsut. So if you want that book and part one, like I said, if you bought the Spirits in the Mossi, most of y'all, if y'all hit me in my Facebook Messenger, I already know you done purchased the book, especially if you purchase off of the website. Um, off of the website. I know you purchased it, but if you purchase it off Amazon, it doesn't give me those names who purchased it off there. But if you purchase it and you show you purchased the book, I'll send you both of the PDF book. They're two nice books to have. Um, yeah, so that's how you can get those two PDF books. And a lot of times I send people stuff and they don't even use it. You waste my time by me sending you these. Yeah, and I still had to pay for the PDFs too, because those two books I paid for them. I got the hard copies, and I paid for the PDFs, the ebooks rather. So yeah, hit me up if y'all want that. Real quick, want to share my screen, man. We had to do that.
Peace to brother Sutekh. I see you joined us. I don't know how long you've been in here.
He been in here for a minute, man. Been in here for a minute. Yep. Let me know when my screen's sharing.
Yeah, we see you.
Okay. Well, we always gotta promote, gotta pay bills. If you don't know, if you've been up on the rock, you know what I'm saying? You've been in another foreign country. You ain't had internet. We have a book out called Spirits of the Mossi, a historical survey of the minds of African warrior scholars, volume one. It is available now, so go get your copies on Amazon.com, and it's on Kofi Piesie TV. We appreciate the many, many, many people who have gotten the book. We have received a lot of love. Um, um, you know, um, on the book, we've got some great reviews. Some people got the book, done read the book always through. Some people who are halfway through the book, who have given us good reviews on the book, who has been very appreciative of the work, the collective work that we put into this book. So if you hadn't got the book, you can go buy the book. You can get the book on KofiPiesie.tv.com. You can get it on Amazon.com, or you can contact each one of us. We also have our own personal copies that if you that they are we are selling to on our own. Also, you can get them at the Black Dot um, Cultural Learning Center in Georgia, which is Unc's bookstore. So they're in Georgia. If you're in the Georgia area, you can stop at his bookstore and you can purchase the book there as well. Um, Also, if you want a Spirits of the Mossi t-shirt, we sold out. We had shirts coming from Mississippi, from Milo, from me, and we had shirts coming from Spirits of the Mossi shirts coming from Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, coming from Shawn. We sold out. We both sold out of the shirts. But we got some more in stock. My new stock will be here either tomorrow or Monday. So if you want to order your Spirits of the Mossi t-shirts, they're only available on KofiPiesie.tv.com. So go to Kofi Piesie, www.KofiPiesie.tv.com. I didn't put it all in. I was actually typing this up as we was live on a show, but it's on KofiPiesie.tv.com. So go to KofiPiesie.tv.com. Go to the London Market, hit the apparel. Once you click the apparel, you'll see the shirt. I also was supposed to have been having some new shirts available, which they'll be in when the Spirits of the Mossi t-shirts in. I'm trying to get a professional pick. Couldn't get a professional pick off the website. My cousin printing company used this certain site to make it professional like this picture is here. They have no shirts available on the website, therefore he couldn't make um, the picture, the professional picture for the website. So maybe it'll be available tomorrow. If not, I'll just have to make the picture professional as I can once I get the shirt in. Cause I just don't want to take a picture and then put the picture of what I took on there. But if I have to, I will. But I'll try to make it professional. But few people been asking about As I Learn, We All Learn t-shirts. So I have a dope design. I'm talking about it's a dope design. As I Learn, We All Learn. It's just not with words. It's a design, a dope design. So it'll be up on the website Tuesday. The picture hopefully will be up on the website either tomorrow or Tuesday. And you can also purchase your As I Learn, We All Learn t-shirts as well as your Spirits of the Monster t-shirts. So you can look fly as you read our new book, man. Appreciate those who bought the Spirits of the Monster t-shirts. Like I said, they sold out. We got some more that'll be here Monday or Tuesday. You want to place your order, and I'll be shipping your orders out this week for the Spirits of the Monster shirts. And if you want to, As I Learn, We All Learn, I'll have them up on the website where you can go in and look, and you can make a decision if you want to learn, if you want to buy the shirts, and I have them on the Facebook page um, this week as well. I may go live and show you in real time actually what they look like. And I have a few people modeling those shirts as well, so you'll know what they look like with the shirt. With those, if you purchase the shirt, what you'll look like. We'll also be going live tonight on Facebook.com. We've been doing that for a little month now. We've been going live on Facebook, been touching on various topics, running through videos, and we'll get back to another video that we want to comb through a little bit. Maybe next show we'll comb through. We actually got a few videos that we need to stop and comb through, but we'll be back on this evening at 8 o'clock Central Standard Time on Facebook. We'll be broadcasting live from my Facebook channel, Mossi Warrior Clan like page, and our Kofi Piesie research team like page. We'll be streaming from those three pages on Facebook this evening, and we'll be running down the importance of reading, and we'll be sharing some books, some personal books that may have meant something to us, may have changed our point of view, may have changed our life in general, and some suggesting readings that we think that may be important to beginners, and books that people may not be privy to. So stay tuned for that. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. I will be running down recommendations as far as the team that's on our website. You can go to our website right now, www.kofipiesietv.com, and go to I don't know what the page is, but you'll know it once you get on the page, and it's we have a list of books, of recommendation of books, and we'll be talking about some of those books as well this evening at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook. Again, we'll be streaming from my page, from Mossi Warrior Clan like page, and Kofi Piesie research team like page. So tune in for that this evening. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. And again, if you hadn't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, as brother was stating earlier. I forgot the brother name. Let me see what his brother name was. I don't want I clicked off and clicked back on, but I think it's Grown Man 777 or 775. Right, click the notification bell so when we go live, you'll know that we're going live from Facebook, from this channel. So click the notification bell. That will help us out too, but we won't have to keep sharing the video on Facebook so people know that we're live. Hit the notification bell. We appreciate those who have subscribed to the channel. We appreciate those who tune in every show. We appreciate people who share the show. We appreciate those who like the show. We appreciate those who have bought the book. We appreciate those who have bought the Spirits of the Mossi um, um, Spirits of the Mossi book. Hold on, y'all. My old lady texted me. No, I'm live. What's my your email, ma'am?
Hey, brother T'Challa.
Go ahead.
Are you aware of Amanda Smith?
No.
Okay. When Kofi get back, I'm gonna ask him as one last thing that we just read the first sentence of her Wikipedia article. But I want to read it, you know, in front of the audience and let them see.
What's going on?
Can you, since you got your screen open, can you pull up Wiki real quick? I just want to read one sentence.
All right, yeah, because we trying to close out because
He
got something he had to do. Hold on.
I just want to close with this one little grape for the audience and the family.
And while y'all doing that, I want to say.
Oh yeah. Go ahead, Sutekh.
If you order the book off Amazon, it may possibly be late. That's because anything that has to do with COVID-19 is priority right now with Amazon. So it may be late. What you can do is order the book from KofiPiesie.com, and we will ship your book out, your orders out to you directly, and it may get there in a more timely fashion. You can go to KofiPiesie.com, or you can hit one of us up individually, or you can hit us up on the email as well.
Info@KofiPiesie.com. Again, info@KofiPiesie.com.
Yeah, that's all I want to say.
Yeah, I'm glad because I forgot about that. So, that's, so keep that in mind. We want you to go to Amazon if you want to go to Amazon. But like he said, that it may due to the COVID-19, you may get your book in a timely fashion and you may not get it because they doing priority first, anything dealing with supplies for the hospital and etc. So we have a stockpile of books, so you can go to KofiPiesie.com, and if you order the book off of there, we immediately ship the book out to you, so you may get it faster going that route. But it doesn't matter either way, or you can contact us individually for the book. So yeah, so again, and if you ordered off of there, please, it's not we have no control over how Amazon ship their product. So it's not on us. If you order off of Amazon and they tell you your package will arrive Thursday, such and such date, and then you don't get it on Thursday, it may be Friday or next week. We have no control over what they actually do. But yeah, what you want? What you need me to do, man? Sorry, my old lady is worrying me to death, man.
Type this in since you were right there on Google. Amanda Berry Smith. AMA.
Hold on, let me go. Hold on. Let me just. AM. I don't know what's going on, man. I shouldn't have talked with the child today, man. He just got my dang, man. Amanda who?
Berry Smith. And all we need to do is just pull a wiki file and read her very first sentence. Now, this woman, she did a lot. She was born in the Americas. She spent time in Africa. The first sentence is going to give away a lot of the power punches. But the closing of what they say this woman was, I just want y'all to, let it register that all you can walk away with this same sentiment attached to your name if you so desire.
Where I'm going?
Right there, the very first paragraph. No, go up. Right there where it says her name. It's kind of small on my phone. Yeah.
I'll read it if you want me to, and you can just elaborate with it.
No, just
or you
watch.
got
Just watch this. It says Amanda Berry Smith, born January 23rd, 1837, was a former slave who funded the Amanda Smith Orphanage and Industrial Home for Abandoned and Destitute Colored Children. She was referred to as God's image carved in ebony. That's all I wanted to say. That they called her God carved in ebony. She was such a great woman. Right here in the Americas. And this was a slave. That goes to show the power of who we are. If you need any other story, that one sentence says so much. She fought for science. She made these orphanages. She did a lot. So if no one knows her name, this is a good person for our women to study, or at least give this name to your children.
right.
So
I ain't know nothing about her. I'm gonna actually I'm finna look up. I'm actually finna read this as soon as we get off here, man.
it gets better. It gets
Yeah.
better. It tell you about, I haven't read this article, but I'm pretty sure if you read it, it'll talk about her going to Liberia. She went through West Africa. I don't know every place she went, but I think she spent like 10 years over there.
Yeah.
Hey, fellas, I gotta jump off here. I gotta go.
Yeah, we finna end it, man. Again, peace to everybody. Black African Power. We'll see y'all this evening, man. We out of here.
Peace.
Peace.